Picture this scene. You walk into a room filled with important people, executives, decision makers, the ambitious and the hungry. Everyone is talking, networking, performing, voices competing for attention like traders on a stock exchange floor. But in the corner, there is one man who says nothing. He sits with his coffee, eyes moving slowly across the room. He does not laugh loudly at jokes. He does not interrupt conversations. He does not try to impress anyone. When someone speaks to him, he responds with few words, measured, precise, then returns to his silence. And here is what no one in that room understands yet. That quiet man, he is the most dangerous person in the building. Not dangerous like a weapon, dangerous like depth. Dangerous like a river that looks still on the surface, but carries currents underneath that could pull you to places you never intended to go. Most people believe that power announces itself, that confidence is loud, that the person talking the most controls the room. This is one of the greatest lies you have been taught. The truth? The person who speaks least often holds the most cards. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why, and more importantly, how to become that person. What you are about to learn are 6 principles of what the Stoics called weaponized stillness, the ancient art of transforming your silence from awkwardness into authority, from shyness into strategy, from quiet into power. And I need to warn you, if you apply even half of what you learned today, people will begin to treat you differently. They will watch you more carefully. They will weigh your words more heavily. They will sense that you know something they do not. Because you will. Let us begin. Principle 1. The observer collects what the performer broadcasts. Here is a truth the Stoic philosopher Epictetus understood 2,000 years ago. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. But this is not just about listening. This is about intelligence gathering. The loud man in the room is a broadcaster. Every word he speaks is a transmission of his insecurities, his ambitions, his pressure points, his weaknesses. He does not realize he is doing it. He thinks he is impressing people. He thinks volume equals value. The quiet man? He is a receiver. While the loud man talks about his plans, the quiet man notes the gaps in his strategy. While the loud man brags about his successes, the quiet man identifies what he is compensating for. While the loud man tries to dominate the conversation, the quiet man builds a complete psychological profile without asking a single question. This is what I call the depth advantage. Think of it like poker. The player who cannot stop talking is showing his cards with every breath. He celebrates too quickly when he has a good hand. He fidgets when he is bluffing. He complains about bad luck, revealing how he processes defeat. The silent player? He watches all of this. He catalogs it. He waits. And when the moment is right, he uses it. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." The insane? They are the ones who cannot stop revealing themselves, who mistake noise for presence, who believe that if they are not speaking, they are disappearing. The wise man knows. In silence, he becomes invisible, and invisible men see everything. Here is how you apply this today. In your next meeting, your next social gathering, your next negotiation, speak 50% less than you normally would. Do not fill silence with nervous words. Instead, watch. Notice who is trying hardest to impress. Notice who interrupts others. Notice who cannot maintain eye contact. You are not being antisocial. You are running reconnaissance. And the intelligence you gather will serve you far longer than any clever comment ever could. Principle 2. Conservation of force. There is a reason the most elite soldiers are trained in economy of movement. Every action costs energy. Every word costs attention. Every reaction costs emotional capital. The loud man hemorrhages all 3. He reacts to every slight. He comments on every situation. He invests emotional energy in conversations that mean nothing and people who matter even less. By midday, he is depleted. By week's end, he is exhausted. He wonders why he feels so drained when he has been putting himself out there. This is the cost of noise. It is not free. The Stoics understood this as the principle of selective engagement, the deliberate choice to conserve your force for battles that actually matter. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." He was not just talking about hours. He was talking about the minutes you spend arguing with fools, the emotional calories you burn on people who will not remember your name next month, the The mental bandwidth you sacrifice to prove points that did not need proving. The quiet man operates on a different economy entirely. He does not engage every provocation. He does not correct every error. He does not feel compelled to share every opinion. And because of this conservation, when he does engage, he has reserves the loud man burned through hours ago. His words land harder because he has fewer of them. His presence hits different because he has not diluted it across dozens of meaningless interactions. Imagine two fighters in a ring. One throws wild punches at the air, taunts his opponent, bounces around burning energy before the bell even rings. The other stands still, breathing, watching, waiting. By round 3, the loud fighter is gasping. The quiet fighter has not broken a sweat. That is when the fight actually begins. Here is your application. This week, count how many times you speak before asking yourself, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? Does this need to be said by me right now? If the answer is no to any of these, stay silent. Bank that energy. You will need it later for a moment that actually matters. Principle 3. The tyranny of timing. Most people are slaves to the moment. Someone insults them, they respond immediately. An opportunity appears, they lunge without thinking. A question is asked, they answer before processing. This is reactivity. And reactivity is weakness wearing confidence as a disguise. The quiet man has mastered what I call calibrated response. The disciplined understanding that when you respond is often more important than what you respond with. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it?" He understood that the immediate reaction is almost never the right one. The words that leap to your tongue when you feel attacked, those are not wisdom. Those are reflexes. And reflexes belong to animals, not men who are trying to master themselves. Here is a story. There was a Roman senator who was known for winning every political battle he entered. His secret was not intelligence. There were smarter men. It was not wealth. There were richer men. It was that he never responded to anything on the same day he heard it. Insult him in public? He would smile, say nothing, and walk away. 3 days later, when his enemy had relaxed, when witnesses had dispersed, when the perfect response had crystallized, then he would strike. And he never missed. His opponents fought with daggers. He fought with patience. And patience always wins. The quiet man is dangerous because he does not play by the tempo others set. He creates his own rhythm. He lets provocations hang in the air until they lose their charge. He lets opportunities ripen until they are ready for harvest. Practically speaking, the next time you feel the urge to respond immediately to something important, a criticism, an opportunity, a conflict, force yourself to wait 24 hours. Tell the other person you will think about it. Watch how much smarter your eventual response becomes when you remove the pressure of immediacy. This is not weakness. This is control over something most people never even attempt to control, time itself. Principle 4. The psychology of mystery. Human beings are meaning-making machines. When we encounter something we do not understand, we do not ignore it. We obsess over it. We fill in blanks. We construct narratives. We project our fascinations and fears onto the unknown. The quiet man understands this instinctively, while the loud man broadcasts every dimension of his personality, leaving nothing to discover. The quiet man presents absence, space, mystery. And here is what happens psychologically. People begin to write stories about him. He must be incredibly confident to not feel the need to prove himself. What does he know that we don't? He seems like someone with depth, not like these other shallow conversationalists. The quiet man has not said any of this. He has not claimed confidence. He has not demonstrated knowledge. He has not proven depth. His silence did the work for him. This is strategic invisibility. The understanding that what you withhold creates more gravity than what you reveal. Think of the moon versus a flashlight. The flashlight shows you everything, instantly, completely. There is nothing left to wonder about. The moon reveals itself slowly, partially, always suggesting more than it displays. Poets have written about the moon for thousands of years. No one writes poetry about flashlights. The loud man is a flashlight, immediately impressive, immediately forgotten. The quiet man is a moon, drawing eyes upward again and again, always suggesting hidden dimensions. Bruce Lee once said, "Showing off is the fool's idea of glory." He was not only talking about martial arts. He was talking about the fundamental error of believing that revelation builds respect. It does not. Suggestion builds respect. Implication builds respect. The sense that there is more beneath the surface that builds respect. Your application: stop explaining yourself. Stop giving people complete pictures of who you are. Leave sentences unfinished. Let questions go half-answered. Allow people to wonder. The discomfort you feel in doing this, that is your ego dying. Let it. What rises in its place will be far more powerful. Principle 5. The physics of force. There is a principle in martial arts that most people never grasp. The hardest punches do not come from the biggest muscles or the wildest swings. The hardest punches come from concentration of force. All energy compressed into a single point, delivered at the exact right moment. This is physics, and it applies to language as powerfully as it applies to combat. The loud man disperses his force. He speaks so often that his words become ambient noise. Background static. People stop listening because nothing he says carries differential weight. Every sentence sounds the same, which means no sentence sounds important. The quiet man? When he speaks, force concentrates. If a man who has said nothing for an hour suddenly offers 3 sentences, every ear in the room turns toward him. His words carry weight that identical words from the loud man never could, not because the words are different, but because the silence before them created gravitational pull. This is verbal scarcity economics, the understanding that the value of your words is inversely proportional to their frequency. Epictetus taught, keep silence for the most part, and speak only when you must, and then briefly. He was not encouraging social anxiety. He was teaching force multiplication. He knew that men who speak rarely become men whose speech changes outcomes. Think of it this way. If a billboard flashes 100 different messages a minute, you see none of them. If a billboard displays one message for a week, you cannot forget it. Your words work the same way. The quiet man speaks in billboards. The loud man speaks in strobe lights. Here is how you apply this. Before your next important conversation, decide in advance what 2 or 3 points you absolutely must communicate. Then construct them precisely. Choose each word deliberately. When the moment comes, deliver those points and nothing else. Do not embellish. Do not ramble. Do not dilute. You will be amazed at how differently people respond when your words carry mass. Principle 6. The sovereign inner citadel. All of what we have discussed, the observation, the conservation, the timing, the mystery, the concentrated force, all of it rests on one foundation: emotional sovereignty. The loud man speaks constantly because he cannot sit with silence. Silence terrifies him because in silence, he is left alone with himself. And that is an encounter he has spent his entire life avoiding. So he fills the void. He distracts himself with his own voice. He uses noise as anesthesia against self-confrontation. The quiet man has done the opposite work. He has learned to sit with himself, to hold discomfort without fleeing from it, to let emotions move through him without needing to discharge them through speech. He has built what Marcus Aurelius called the inner citadel, an internal fortress of stability that does not require external validation to maintain. This is the deepest reason quiet men are dangerous, because a man who does not need your approval cannot be manipulated with it. A man who does not fear your disapproval cannot be threatened with it. A man who is complete within himself cannot be destabilized by anything you do. The Stoics understood that most human weakness comes from dependency, on comfort, on approval, on outcomes we cannot control. The man who speaks constantly is advertising his dependencies with every sentence. Love me, validate me, tell me I am smart, tell me I am funny, fill the emptiness I cannot fill myself. The quiet man advertises nothing, because he needs nothing, at least nothing that you can give him. And when you encounter a man who does not need what you can offer, something ancient in your brain recognizes him as threat or as leader, often both. Here is the deepest application. Spend time in silence, deliberately. Not meditation necessarily, though that helps. Simply be alone with yourself without distraction. No phone, no music, no input. Just you and the contents of your own mind. At first, this will be uncomfortable, perhaps unbearable. That discomfort is the measure of how dependent you have become on external noise to regulate your internal state. Sit with it. Tolerate it. Let it transform. On the other side of that discomfort is a power most people will never access. We have covered enormous ground today. The observer advantage, collecting intelligence while others broadcast weakness. Conservation of force, banking energy for battles that actually matter. Calibrated response, mastering timing rather than being mastered by it. Strategic invisibility, letting mystery do the work that boasting never could. Verbal scarcity, concentrating force until your words carry mass. Emotional sovereignty, building the inner citadel that nothing external can breach. These are not tricks. They are not techniques. They are a fundamental reorientation of how you exist in social space. The loud man moves through the world trying to prove himself with every breath, exhausting himself, revealing himself, diminishing himself with every unnecessary word. The quiet man moves through the same world harboring his power, observing everything, waiting for moments where his concentrated action changes outcomes. One is a storm, dramatic, loud, ultimately ineffective against anything solid. The other is an earthquake, silent until the moment of impact. Then everything changes. Here is the choice before you. You can continue operating as you have been, speaking when you should observe, reacting when you should wait, revealing when you should withhold, leaking power through every interaction until you wonder why no one takes you seriously. Or you can begin, today, the practice of strategic silence. You can start building an inner citadel that does not require noise to feel stable. You can become the man that other men watch carefully, not because you have demanded their attention, but because you have made your attention valuable. Epictetus left us with this. First, learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. Most people will never reverse this order. They will speak first, endlessly, hoping meaning somehow emerges from the flood. You now know better. The quiet man is not quiet because he has nothing to say. He is quiet because he understands something the loud man may never learn. The deepest power does not announce itself. It waits. And when it moves, everything moves with it.